Other people see things and say, why? But I dream things that never were, and I say, why not?
Mike takes everything very serious. He has to look at it from every angle. As the Boston Globe said today, he's a thinker. He doesn't just react. He thinks and he's sure it's right before he acts upon it. Eddie Lake was my husband and Mike's dad, and he had a vision to own his own business, and at 18 he started it. And because he was so young, he named it E.H. Lake in Sons, so people would think he was the son, when in reality he was the father. He wanted me to work for Lake Industries, which I was very grateful because 5 years later, Eddie passed away, and I had to go in and run his company. Woo! And it was very difficult because Michael had a little sister who was 3. So I had the 2 of them, and I felt like they lost their dad, and then I had to go and run his company, so they lost their mom. I took on the responsibility of the business, and unfortunately at 5, Michael seemed to take on a lot of the household responsibility, which has made Mike the way he is today.
You know, my friends would be like, oh, I have to call my dad, and I would be like, well, let me call my brother and check, you know. And it becomes, once you're, you know, older, and you realize that that's not usually the role a brother plays, but that's all I ever knew. So still to this day, that's how it is for me. You know, if I'm going to make a big decision, I call my brother and I call my mom.
Mike got very involved in the community at the church. He was an altar boy, and he was selected to go and see the Pope. And when he was in high school, he would pick up bread at the bakery every day and go and bring it to the women's battered shelter. He was a co-captain on the swim team, and he would have to get special permission to be late.
Mike went to Northeastern University, and his majors were communications, finance, entrepreneurship, management information systems, and political science. Yeah, it's a lot. Can you imagine what it's like to have a brother with 5 majors? I mean, it's just super impressive, but that's who he is. That's what you expect when you know him, that he's going to go above and beyond.
Mike has extraordinary background. He, wherever he's gone, he has created opportunity and pushed fresh ideas into real practice and been the person who says, why not? He was the youngest associate bank examiner who was hired at the Federal Reserve Bank when he worked there back in the late 90s. President Clinton trusted him to run the day-to-day operations of the White House, which is a $54 million public agency. And now he runs the World Class Cities Partnership, where he works with public sector leaders from around the globe to both identify and exchange best practices. And I really think that that is exactly the kind of practical but also independent experience that folks are looking for in our next state auditor.
Mike has always been motivated by making our father proud and doing what he could do to assure that. And Mike has always been motivated by public service and the community and, you know, working for others.
One of the things that I love about Mike is that he so clearly has a true heart for public service. But not just that, he also has the brains that we need in public office. And the other reason that I'm supporting Mike is this. Efficiency is not a word I know that people tend to get really excited about in politics, but I do. Because efficiency is how we get to yes on so many of the other things that we care about as a state, whether it's educating our kids or making sure that folks have access to decent health care and to safe neighborhoods in our Commonwealth. And every ounce of efficiency that we find, every dollar's worth of efficiency that we find and that the state auditor's office finds, is another dollar that we can put back into those core values that we hold. And Mike really gets that, and that's why he's so passionate about this job. So that's why I'm supporting Mike Lake.
I think him growing up and having to live in a very frugal household is certainly very valuable today. And with the economy situation the way it is, Mike always used to say to me, take a nickel and turn it into a dollar. And I see Mike at a very young age, when he was 14, when other kids were out spending money, he was taking a nickel and turning it into a dollar. And I think that's what we need in this economy right now, is to take that money and use it wisely.